Top of the hour, and as we come on air, we are following some breaking news. An intense and massive fire taking place right now in East Harris County. These are pictures coming into the KHOU 11 newsroom from Air 11. It is an industrial fire. This is off of I-10 East and Sheldon. We're told the facility is called K-solv. You can see large plumes of black smoke burning here. And of course, we know when we see black smoke, that means that the fire itself is still burning. We're not quite at the point of extinguishing it yet. Yeah, you can tell from the black smoke that this is really going strong. As we said, the name of this industrial organization is K-solv. Now online, it says it is a chemical distribution, disaster response, and environmental solutions company. This is on Lakeside Drive in the Channelview area on the east side off I-10. Now, we do not know what caused the fire, what exactly is burning. I would assume some sort of chemicals, and we'll have to figure that out. We have a crew on the way. We do know hazmat and fire crews are there. That is an indication that they believe this is some sort of chemical that is burning, and that is something they'll have to figure out. Another question here, of course, is whether or not there will be a shelter-in-place ordered for people who are living nearby. We do know, again, hazmat and fire investigators are there. If you have to be in this area or maybe traveling there, you are warned, you might want to find another route because this fire is blowing and burning really strong. Yeah, so we said I-10 East near Sheldon Road. If you're familiar with this area, this is really what we call here in Houston the petroleum corridor. So a chemical response here. We heard that hazmat crews are on the scene. If you look to the left-hand corner of your screen, just under that breaking news graphic, you'll see some spray, some water there. That's a hose pumping water onto the fire itself. From our view right now, we haven't seen fire trucks. Hopefully we're going to be able to get Air 11 to widen out and see what the response is like, how they are treating this fire. Of course, we know there's always a different approach when it comes to any type of chemical fire, especially pertaining to any type of petroleum-based chemical. So sometimes that's a matter of using a foam, sometimes that's a matter of using water, and sometimes it's a matter of just letting it burn. We're working to get you more information. We have a reporter on the way to the scene to bring you a live report for us. We're going to keep efforting that for you at this hour. So we're getting information. So our producer is talking to me. Nicole, tell me again the agencies that are there. Harris County Sheriff's. Okay. Okay, so HFD and Channelview Fire Departments are responding. The Harris County Sheriff's Department is responding and handling traffic in the area. And so I'm sure in the immediate area around the complex, they're going to be diverting a lot of traffic there off I-10 and Sheldon Road. And again, you can see on the right where there's sparse traffic and people are driving and they see the smoke. But then we take this shot from Air 11. You can see just how intense the fire is. And again, they've got hazmat crews there. Exactly what is burning? How dangerous is it? Is it an irritant? That is a possibility. Will there be a shelter in place? These are all answers to questions that we are definitely trying to sort out for you. Yeah, and as we're watching here the live pictures, you know, we saw a lot of black smoke, but it seems like we're seeing more swells of flames there as well at the base. They're near the ground level. So hopefully we're going to get some information here soon. We're working to get you more information as to exactly what is burning, more about this facility as well. But anytime we have a fire, of course, the elements come into play, the weather. So we want to bring in David Paul at this time now. David, we know we've had some weather today. We've had some rain. We've had some breezes too. How's that coming into play? It's the wind that's having a major impact on the smoke from this fire. When you have strong winds like we do today, south at 15 to 25, they're gusting above 30 miles an hour through the Channelview area right now. When you have wind that strong, not only does it blow the smoke off to the north as it is today, but it keeps the smoke closer to the surface than it normally would. When there's no wind, the fire can just burn. You can have that smoke plume going straight up until it reaches a temperature inversion. We have one of those at about 2,000 feet today, so the smoke won't get above 2,000 feet, but that strong wind just keeps the smoke right near the surface. And you saw earlier, there's a parking lot just north of that facility, and many of the cars in that parking lot have been engulfed in flame because the flames have been blown right along the ground by that strong wind into the parking lot.
and that smoke plume gets just a little bit, maybe 100 feet above the surface, and then it just gets blown off right up the San Jacinto River Basin. So here's the San Jacinto River as it feeds into the north side of Galveston Bay through Baytown. Any neighborhoods, if you're watching us right now and you're in some of the little neighborhoods here just on the west side of the San Jacinto River in East Harris County, you know, we don't have any type of official word on a shelter in place or anything, but I would issue your own. Just stay inside, turn your AC on, or turn it off so you don't get any type of fumes from whatever is in that smoke into your house, and just stay put for the moment until we get more direction on whether or not they're going to issue a shelter in place or not. But that wind not only is feeding the flames, which is helping the fire stay very strong, but it is blowing that smoke right along ground level, right across I-10 and then up across the San Jacinto River Basin here in the east side of Harris County. And there's that live picture. So instead of the smoke being able to go straight up, we've got the smoke being blown violently off to the north. Again, this fire is just south of I-10 in Channelview, near Channelview, and there's that north wind blowing it off toward the north. And there are the flames. And one of the things I do notice, Len and Mia, they are blowing water on the perimeter of the fire. I don't see them blowing water onto the actual fire. That tells me that they may not know exactly what's burning, or they do know, and they know it's the type of fire you don't want to put water on. I think it's polystyrene, and in the polystyrene family of chemicals that you don't want to put water on because it can just make things worse. Guys, back over to you.
All right, David, Paul, thank you. As we said, this industrial group is called K-solv. Now, if you look online, it looks like they have emergency response to various environmental disasters, and now they've got a disaster of their own with whatever they're stored there that is now on fire. As we mentioned, now we're hearing that the Harris County Fire Marshal's Office is responding, along with Houston Fire Department. The Harris County Sheriff's Department is also involved to handle traffic in the area. And so what we have to sort out is what exactly is burning. Will there be an evacuation of residents in the area? How many people are in that area? As Mia was pointing out, it is an industrial corridor, so there may not be a whole lot of houses nearby. At least you can't see from this vantage point, but you can definitely see that thick black smoke and the fire still really, really going.
Yeah, you mentioned this is a multi-agency response, this fire that we're watching burn here. Something to keep in mind, oftentimes these companies have their own internal response team, people who are on staff who are trained to respond to an emergency like this, a fire. There's often a protocol, guidelines to follow, and we're going to work to find out exactly what type of business this is, just how big it is, and if it would have a team like that, quite possibly. We're not getting any reports of any injuries thus far, thank goodness. This fire has been burning since about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and since we've been following it, since we've put our live cameras and our eyes on it, we've just watched this fire continue to burn. At one point, it seemed like the flames had gone down just a bit, but then they fired back up in intensity. Once again, they're close to the ground with so much black smoke burning. And we know when we see that black smoke that we have a good burn going on. You can see to the left of your screen, the upper left there on the left-hand side image, just to the left of the flames. And as the camera pans out, you're seeing there that water being sprayed onto the fire, just around the fire itself, not directly on the flames, it looks like. Now, we don't know why that may be. It may be a matter of proximity, if they can or can't get any closer. It may also be because it's one of those fires that you don't directly apply water to, because once again, just based on where this facility is, we are talking about quite possibly chemicals there on hand, and chemicals respond differently to water. There may be a foam that needs to be used, and you saw that Air 11 had zoomed out, and it really just looks like there to the left from our vantage point, you're seeing just one pumper truck firing water onto the flames. Of course, the smoke so large, the smoke plumes themselves, so there might be other fire trucks on the other side of this fire. We're going to work to see what we can find out. Once again, we have a crew headed to the scene. They're going to get there on the ground and see if they can gather some more information for us as well.
Information, Mia. We understand that Harris County Sheriff's Office, we told you, is handling traffic in the area. They have closed several streets around this complex. They've closed Lakeside, North Shore, Hardy, and De Zavala, I believe is the street. They're also handling not only traffic control, but also security in the area. And the thing that we have to find out, whenever we have these types of incidents with a fire that we don't know if it started with an explosion, if there has been one, but you have to worry about who was on site at the time. Have all the employees been accounted for? Hopefully, everyone is okay, but this is information that is going to be coming in as we start talking to the company itself, and we're still waiting to get word on exactly how this thing started, what is burning, is anybody injured, is anybody missing? Those are all the things that we've got to continue to work on and get answers for you. Again, the streets that are closed in this area off I-10 in Sheldon, Lakeside, North Shore, Hardy, and De Zavala.
Weather conditions are so important when you are trying to fight a fire of this nature. Circling back around to David Paul now. David, you said it is windy out there today.
Very windy today, and this is a big factor in fighting the fire and controlling the fire or the lack thereof. And remember, that's oxygen. It's feeding the heat and the fuel. Those three ingredients, oxygen, heat, and fuel, are what go to make up just about any fire. There's the Channelview area. The fire itself is right here just south of I-10 near the ship channel. Winds are coming south to north. They're blowing toward the north, from south to north. It's sustained at 15 to 25. We've had gusts to 30 and 35, so it's a very windy, very breezy day today. And that wind has a factor in the smoke. If we go to one of those shots where we've got that plume of smoke, it does a couple of things. First of all, when you have winds that are strong, it tends to keep smoke lower to the ground for a longer period of time, blowing it off quickly along the ground instead of allowing it to rise. Number two, and you can see in some of the live shots that we've got, when you have wind blowing smoke, it tends to billow. And that billowing creates little circulations in the smoke, and that can curlicue it back down to the ground. And as we look at this shot, boy, just fully engulfed. And it doesn't look like they're trying to put that water directly on the fire itself. Looks like they're trying to just keep the perimeter cool and keep it from spreading. This may be one of those fires, as Mia and Len were mentioning, that you don't put water on because it just makes it worse. It depends on the type of chemical. You know, this is the chemical corridor, so propylene, ethylene, styrenes, butadienes, and many of those that go in to make all our plastic products do not react to water well. They become even more volatile, so there's that. I don't know if we can pan to the right, but I saw a ladder truck's got their ladder just poked right up into the heart of that smoke plume, and you can see how the wind is just ripping the smoke and the flames off to the north. That's the problem with the strong wind, is because instead of allowing the smoke and flames to just blow straight up into the atmosphere with no wind, with the strong wind, you've got it blowing along the ground. And earlier we saw there's a parking lot to the north of the fire, and many of the cars in that parking lot have been engulfed in flame that have burned because that smoke and that flame and that heat is being pushed right along the ground by that strong south wind. Again, sustained at 15 to 25, gusting to 35. When you have wildfire, when you have fires like this, it is always the wind that becomes one of the major factors in whether you're going to be able to control this fire or it's going to get away from you. Guys, back to you.
All right, David Paul, thank you. I'm looking at the web, K-solv, this group. It sounds like it's some sort of environmental services company where they're handling all kinds of chemicals for other people and maybe storing chemicals. Exactly what's burning here, we don't know. As we take a live look here, look at that image from the air. That really shows you how widespread and intense the fire is. We're starting to see just a little bit of white smoke, which means some of the flames have been put out, but look at all the other hot spots that have spread around this complex now that firefighters are trying to get a control of. Anytime you have chemicals involved, it always takes time. Even in some cases we have seen where firefighters will let the chemicals burn themselves out. We don't know if that's going to happen in this case. It depends on what kind of solvents they have and what kind of chemicals they're dealing with to see if they'll either let it burn out for a while or attack it and try and get it out. But it all depends on exactly what they're dealing with, and that's what we're still waiting to figure out.
Yeah, and we're seeing more water being sprayed now, or at least from a different viewpoint, just beyond the perimeter there of the facility. We just want to let you know who is responding to this fire, because chances are you can see this from miles away. We know we were taking a view from one of the freeways there on the east side of town, and you could see the large plumes of smoke billowing up into the sky. The Harris County Office of Emergency Management, they have their hazmat units there on the ground, as well as the Harris County Pollution Control. They are all at the scene. Of course, we are working to find out any safety information that we need to pass along to you, but just as a precaution, it never hurts to go ahead and do those things when there is a shelter in place. You know, your safety is paramount in this situation, as well as the people responding to this. So if you can take those precautions, definitely, if anything, avoid this area. If you have someone headed home, on their way home, let them know about this too, so they can redirect and find another route. It looks like on the left-hand side of our screen, we are watching some video that's coming into the newsroom. This is Channel View, Texas. This is a still image that someone is sharing with us. And now back to some video there. Someone getting some up-close video for us just from the roadside there of
I'm told it's Snapchat, Mia, that people are sending us. So, you know, everybody's got a phone, everybody's got a camera these days, so they are sending us some of the videos that they are seeing, and it gives us another vantage point here as to what exactly is going on. Once again, hazmat crews are there. They're trying to figure out what exactly is the extent. You can see it is really going, and they've got to get control of it, figure out the best way to attack it. We're still waiting to hear from either the Harris County Fire Marshal's office or Houston Fire Department to explain exactly what they are dealing with and what the approach is and how long is this going to take, and is anybody hurt or missing.
Yeah, and we're continuing to monitor our social media platforms. This is a tweet we saw from meteorologist Jeff Lindner with the Harris County, and he is tweeting a smoke plume originating from the industrial fire in Channel View there, and you can see the imagery that he is using and has it circled off there for you. So plenty of people following this situation, this breaking news that's developing out on the east end in our industrial corridor there.
And you can see once again, Air 11 really has the greatest vantage point. And if you live in this area and you're wondering, okay, what's closed? How do I get around? What's the deal? These are the streets we're told that are closed: Lakeside, North Shore, Hardy, and De Zavala. The Harris County Sheriff's Department is handling traffic control and security in the region, so they will direct you to the best directions to go to make sure that you can get where you need to go if in fact you're allowed to. So again, those are the 4 streets in the area that have been shut down as firefighters continue to try and deal with this industrial fire.